Back again. CABAL back again, guys. Back again on New Year's Eve. Shout out to all my Euros. You guys are about to bring in the new year. I'm not gonna blame you if you guys jump off at any point. Maybe you're not jumping on right now because we're about 25 minutes from midnight in most of continental Europe. But I have to say, most New Year's Eves, why would you ever do a CABAL, right? Why would you do it? Yeah. Oh yeah, because Ukraine's a little bit further ahead. Why would you do a CABAL during most New Year's? But this New Year's, most people aren't really doing anything. They're not doing anything. We're hanging out. We're hanging out together in our homes, sheltering in our homes, being safe, keeping everybody safe. Guys, we're keeping the community safe this year. So we're just having our CABAL together, New Year's Eve, ringing it in. So, as you might expect, we have to do. I just got in my Jay Campbell group. I just got there's some stuff coming down. He's alive. I think I know who they're talking about. They're talking about Jeffrey Epstein. But look, we're gonna get into all that stuff. We got some fun stuff ahead. I love it. Prosecco, opening that bubbly, guys. We've done a couple of things with champagne, just one-offs. No structure to champagne, and I'm not doing champagne. Because I want to save the champagne for post CABAL, right? It's a good thing we're saving France for the end for after Italy, because there's some pretty pricey Italian reds, pretty pricey Italian wines, but there's nothing more pricey than France. Okay, there's nothing more pricey than France, and we gotta wait on those winnings to come in before we can start to purchase all those Burgundies, all that champagne, because that's some pricey stuff. If I wanna really give you guys the full tour of those areas. So look, but I did want to do some bubbly. I don't think that you can get away with the new year without doing some bubbly. So I compromised, guys. I compromised, okay? And we're taking a detour from Italy to France, and we're doing Cremant, okay? Cremant. Now, there are a lot of Cremant. There's a Cremant pretty much for every single region of France. But I've taken 3 of the 4 big ones, okay? 3 of the 4 big ones. So we had Cremant de Bourgogne, Cremant de Limoux, in Cremant de Loire. Now, the other big one is Cremant de Alsace, and I do not have one of those on hand. This was spur of the moment, so I was happy I had this stuff. So let's talk really quickly about Cremant. Okay, we're not going to go into any of these regions. We're going to cover those regions later on. But Cremant, okay, for a long time, they would call it Champagne. But Champagne didn't like that, because Champagne is Champagne. Champagne is a region of France, right? It's north of Burgundy, east of Loire, okay? And they use a special method, which was called Method Champenois. And other parts of France were doing that as well. And Champagne didn't like that. They were calling their wine Champagne. So they compromised with it, and they began to call it Cremant, which was another way to basically describe the method. I don't recall exactly. But basically, point here being basically, is that Cremant is made the same way as Champagne. It's identical to Champagne, except it's not in Champagne. That's the only difference. Okay, same thing. And so in France, it can be pretty good. When it comes to non-Champagne sparkling wine, guys, Cremant is what I go to all the time, because they're always good, always higher quality than Prosecco, almost always higher quality than Cava, and sometimes they're almost as good as Champagne. Sometimes. Depends on the producer, depends. I used to sell a Cremant de Loire, Cremant de Jura, which was incredible. I mean, it was literally like drinking champagne. So, it's a good bargain. I recommend you guys look into Cremants. We're going to try them. I'm going to see what's different. So, the Cremant de Bourgogne, this is most likely going to be Chardonnay. Okay, because they use the same grapes from the area. It's a white one. Maybe there's some Pinot Meunier. Maybe there's some Pinot Noir. It's just wonderful. It's wonderful. Now, I'm not going to tell you there's a ton of flavor popping out on this one yet. It's dry. It's crisp. It's how I like it. You probably get a little bit more fruit with the Prosecco. So, Prosecco drinkers, it's all good. I understand. Different strokes for different folks. but I like that a lot. Let's try the Limo. Now, Limo, I don't have as much experience with. Limo is in southern France. It's a very high altitude area in southern France, basically, near Roussillon. And I think this is actually Limo is where limousine comes from. I think that the first limousine was made in Limo. Actually, limousine may be a different neighboring area. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, guys. I don't want to mess that one up. But it's this was mostly Chardonnay, but it also has I think it's some Chenin Blanc, I believe. Very different. Very different. There's an interesting funk to this. So it just goes to show you that the grapes you use make a big difference. They're all made the same way, but different grapes, different regions. I like this. This has got like some crazy grapefruit stuff going on here. Super interesting. And then we have the Cremant de Loire. Now this looks like it's a rosé, so we know we're getting probably maybe some Gamay, maybe some Cabernet Franc, maybe some Pinot Noir, but I think it's probably going to be Cabernet Franc and Gamay, which are the two red grapes in the Loire Valley. I mean, rosés are different, right? You always have red fruits when you have rosés. All right, peeps. Happy New Year, right? We're celebrating the fake New Year's, right? Remember that New Year's does not actually start until the spring equinox. It's all bullshit. It's all cabal, actually. It's all cabal. Our calendar being dictated around these different months, all cabal calendar stuff. Guys, a lot of things are going to change in the coming year. A lot of things are going to change in the coming year. And we're going to get into talking about some specifics. We're going to talk about some specifics. But let's first talk about the difference in energy between 2020 and difference in energy in 2021. Okay? I want to talk about this while we start off, because this New Year's Eve special, we got to do it. This is serious stuff. Okay? This is a serious difference. So if you guys weren't fucking idiots, and you're not because you're watching this, but you would have been doing the work. Okay? You would have been doing the work in 2020. If you didn't do the work in 2020, don't waste your time. All right? Don't waste time. Get on it. Because I'm going to tell you guys, I got off a coaching call. We were talking about this a lot. I'm going to tell you guys exactly what's going to happen. Okay? I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen next year energetically. 2020 was a collective dark night of the soul. So those of us who have been working on ourselves for years, really doing the inner work, really trying to heal, 2020 was not a bad year at all for us because we had already done all the work, most of it at least. I don't want to say all of it. I can say personally, I had work to do this year and I did it. I did it. Between late May and my trek into the woods in September, that was my capstone on it. And I was doing the work. I was dealing with family crap. I was dealing with child shit, whatever. It wasn't serious stuff, but there was another layer I had to peel back, and it was important. Okay? No, nothing can stop what's coming, guys. Nothing can stop what's coming. So I did that work, came out of that trek completely prepared for what we're doing right now. Okay? But I was already in a good position because I was doing the work. A lot of you guys have been doing the work. A lot of you guys have been doing the work this year. We've had 9 months to do the work, right? 9 months, pretty good time to do the work. And not just doing the interpersonal work, but developing our awareness of the real state of the world. Some of you guys, I love all of you, but some of you guys were with me mid-March. First COVID Cabal, mid-March. Right? Salmon, when you get the winnings, you can pay me. And then we can start to do the work together. All right? When you get your money, we can do some coaching together. So it's all good, man. It's all good. We were doing. Okay. We've been doing. I'm not doing the price right here. It's a couple thousand. All right. So we've been doing the work. We've been doing the work, and since March, right? We've been talking about this stuff. We've been talking about awareness. We've been bringing awareness to the cabal. Right? I remember those things. We spent about a month like all the way through Easter, mid-March through Easter, twice a week, COVID Cabal, talking about all sorts of esoteric stuff. Minds were getting blown. I mean, I was like, my mind was getting blown too, because I had known a lot of this stuff, but it was starting to really crystallize for me, and I was learning a lot, and I was sharing with you what I was learning. And we spent the last month, like last 9 months, pretty much really internalizing the awareness and seeing the plan clearly. And guess what? Guess what, guys? There's no more awareness to be had. And I felt this. I got some energy when I just said that. I got some energy when I said that. 3 weeks ago, okay? This was really around it was around the time, when we were right before the 14th even, but certainly after the 14th. We were talking about, what's going to happen, etc. And then there was just sort of this release. It was like, especially around by the 14th, it was like, what do we even have to talk about in these COVID cabals? What do we have to talk about? What's the point? I mean, we can talk about, interesting things, right? We can, but in terms of like, what are they going to do? What we know what the cabal is going to do. We understand how they think. We understand what they want of us, right? We understand all the bullshit. We can sit and gossip about it, but who fucking cares, really? We're not seeing awareness anymore. We've internalized it, okay? And then as the election went on, we internalized that as well, and we started to learn about faith, the importance of faith, right? Trust in the plan, as you guys say. We learned about faith and trust in the plan. But there's a sort of sense like, well, what's next? What's next? And it took I could feel that void at the 14th. And then it kind of hit me like a couple days later, a little bit before Christmas. And really after Christmas, guys, really after Christmas. And it was like, wow, we're done with awareness, and now it's time to fight. We're done with awareness, and now we're very, very soon it's going to be time to fight. Crazy. More energy, right? You guys are feeling that. It's time to fight. We've been preparing. We spent 9 months in training, guys. You understand this? We spent 9 months. Oh, feel that energy, right? Feel that energy. We spent 9 months training for this, training for what's coming. It's been to get our mind, to get our spirit, to get ourselves prepared for what's next. Doing this inner work, right? Doing this inner work, unraveling these things. January 6th, D-Day, right? June 6th, January 6th, D-Day. Yes, correct. Correct. Okay, after the 14th, we finished basic training. We finished our train after the 14th. And the next 3 weeks, we've been getting our R&R before the ramps drop and we got to come out. Okay? I hope you guys understand that. I hope you guys understand we're about to hit the beach. It's coming. It's coming. And if you guys have been doing the work, right? The key to pulling off D-Day was a misinformation campaign. Amazing comment right there. The parallels are significant. Trump is the special operations president, and like a special operations president, he has been sabotaging and blowing up shit in their defenses. He has set the foundation for us, but he doesn't do it. He can't do it himself. He can't do it himself. We don't show up on the 6th, and after the 6th, we don't start what's going to be a massive civil disobedience campaign. We don't start doing this stuff, guys. Everything Trump's done has been for naught. Because he can't save us. We have to save ourselves. We have a role to play here, a big role to play. It's our country. It's our world. It's our planet. So this is big stuff that's coming. It's big stuff coming. And 2020 was the internal alchemy of all this stuff. Learning and unraveling those knots. unraveling those knots. We are like a spring wound up right now. A lot of people who have been in dissonance have no fucking idea, and this is what's going to happen. Trump has set those foundations. He's broken down the foundations, right? He's weakened the wall for us. And January 6th onward, we're shooting outward, and we are breaking through that wall. We're breaking through it, and we're going forward. First quarter or so of the year, first quarter to tops first half of the year, is going to be the destruction of that system wholeheartedly, and we are going to plow through it because the system has been stopping our individual power. Okay? It's been stopping our individual power from being expressed. We're pushing through those walls, and then we're going to keep going. We are going to keep going. And that is our own personal journey, and that's the world we're going to create. Paul Publisher, when he talks about patchwork consciousness is us on our own individual trajectories pushing through that wall, and we are individually creating the new world that comes after. Everybody who was too fucking dissonant to deal with their own bullshit in 2020 or before, they're going to find themselves standing in rubble with no momentum. The new world is ours for the creation. I don't want to say taking, it's ours for the creation. We create it. And they're stuck behind because they haven't done the work. Spiritual work in the beginning is painful, but as time goes on, it becomes this incredible gift. But I want you guys to understand that before we get to that new world, there's a task required of us. Okay? There's a task required of us. And the task is to break down this system collectively, to refuse to comply with it. All of that energy, every single thing that you guys have worked on, you've been building up internally, all that tension you feel, we're going to have to do it, guys. We're going to have to do it. And you're going to know. You're going to know. You're going to feel it. And we're going to be talking, right? We're going to be talking about it. But I want you guys to be prepared for massive civil disobedience in 2021. First quarter 2021, we are not complying. Okay? We've been playing nice. We've been hiding back like Trump, doing our work on the inside in the shadows. Come 2021, you know what they're saying now? It's like, everybody's got to get the vaccine. They've got to get 2 doses. The first dose doesn't do anything, right? Now you can't travel. I've heard some stuff like if you're trying to fly across country, some states are trying to make it so you have to stay in a detainment center for 10 days. No, fuck this. No. The answer is no. The answer is we are not complying. Do something about it, you motherfuckers. Do something about it. Try to do something about it. We are not complying. Millions of us are not complying. Arrest us. Do it. Arrest us. Try to arrest all of us. Try to arrest all of us. Seriously, try it. You're going to go to the supermarket and you're not going to wear a mask. Don't fight. Don't get into a physical. Don't get angry. Don't get angry. Just say, I am not complying and I am not leaving. And sit down on the floor and tell them to get the cops over and to arrest you. And do that over and over and over again. Over and over again. Don't pay the fines. They put you in jail for a day, so what? They release you, you go do it again. And then more of you start to do it. And then more of you start to do it. And eventually half the fucking supermarket has nobody complying. What then? What are you going to do then? There's no law on the books that allows them to do this. There's no law on the books. But even if there was a law on the books, there is no human natural law that allows them to do this. And that is 2021. We stopped complying. They tell us we have to do this. We say no. They tell us, we tell them no. And there have been brave individuals who have done this, right? But we are at the point now where it's time for all of us to say no to the madness because it's never going to stop otherwise, guys. It's never going to stop. They will never stop. They will keep going. They'll keep pushing with it. They're never going to stop with it. And Trump wants us to do that. He needs us to do it. And January 6th is where we understand, we feel it. We feel that energy. We feel our power. On January 6th, we feel our power. And then after that, good fucking luck with these fucking tyrannical governors. Good fucking luck. They're going to fold like paper tigers. We don't even have to do that much, guys. We don't have to do that much. We just have to say no. No, I'm not complying. No, I'm not complying. We have to be ready for all the fucking sheep. They're ready for all the fucking sheep to look at you like you're some sort of demon, like you're some sort of awful individual. You're trying to kill us. You just don't get angry with them. Just say you're not complying. You can say some facts. You can spread the word, right? Tell everybody there. People there are listening, right? People there are listening. There are going to be people there who are wearing masks who are going to be listening and who are sympathetic. But you have to stop being afraid of the sheep, because the sheep are the ones who are actually afraid. Before, people would do this stuff, they go out on their own, and there'd be enough sheep that, because these fucking people, these fucking entities, whatever the fuck you want to call them, brainwashed zombies, evil, like, just scum, frankly, as far as I'm concerned, they would get angry and they'd feel emboldened, like Antifa. They'd feel emboldened in groups. But when they're not in the majority, they're so afraid. They're so low vibration. They have no power whatsoever. And yes, I love that, Steph. I love that. Honestly, the women have been stepping up more than the men. The men need to step up more. But what's going to happen is that there's going to be a lot of us. There's going to be a lot of us. And we're going to start to see it collapse. So all of you guys, just be prepared for it. Be prepared for it. Be prepared to make those sacrifices, because you're not going to have to pay the fines in the end, but who fucking cares? This is when you have an opportunity. I mean, if you want to look at it even from a 40 perspective, this is an opportunity for glory. You don't get these opportunities. You don't get opportunities to be a leader, a spiritual leader. You don't get the opportunity to usher in the new world. We love the founding fathers because the founding fathers did what nobody else could do or would do. Nobody else would do it, but they did it. And that's why they're honored almost 300 years later, 250 years later. You have that opportunity now. Happens, if you're lucky, once a century. More likely once every two. You have that opportunity right now. So 2021 is going to be exciting. It's going to get off to a really fast pace. Okay? You can already feel it crumbling. I mean, we now know. We can start to get into details now. We now know. Yeah, I'll talk about that. We now know that. Well, I'll get to it now. So, in terms of the group meetup, okay? In terms of the group meetup, I've got a group. I'm assembling a team. If you guys are on Twitter, I'm sure almost certainly all of you are on Twitter, because this is where this is integrated. Shoot me a DM. If you're going to be in DC, shoot me a DM. I'll add you to the group. I haven't set up express details yet. Salman, if you can come, I'd fucking love that. I don't even know how they're going to let you into the country, to be honest, because they're really shutting that shit down. But if you can come, it'd be amazing. Now, a lot of you guys are asking me about hotels. Where should we go? Where should we stay? I don't know. I have to tell you guys, I do not know. I'm a New Jersey guy, okay? Grew up outside of Philadelphia, lived in New York. I know New York and Philadelphia. I fucking hate DC. I hate that swamp, scummy piece of shit place. Sorry if you like DC. I hate it. It's where small people have been. Maybe it'll change. Maybe it'll change after all this stuff. A lot of hotels have already been shut down. They've already said they're shutting down. People don't get deterred by that. Don't get deterred by it. Okay? If you're coming cross country, sleep in your car. Hey, let's fucking camp out on the lawn. Right? Let's be bold here. Bring tents, camp out on Capitol Hill. They're going to try all sorts of stuff. We walk into the city. There's going to be 1 million of us. You guys get this? 1 million of us. The more stuff they try to shut down on us, the bigger it's going to be. Okay? It's a spiritual battle. When they stop the transportation, when they stop the hotels, when they stop all this stuff, and yet we still come, they're even more afraid, because they made it difficult. I checked it, guys. Okay? Silver Spring, Maryland to the Supreme Court building. It's not going to be the Supreme Court, but same kind of distance. The Capitol Hill, 7 miles. Okay? We can walk 7 miles. We can do it. We can walk 7 miles. I am not getting a hotel room, and I don't intend to stay overnight. I intend to leave very early on the 6th, like 4 a.m., drive down, and then whatever, walk, come in. I have a potential meeting with a congressman. I don't know about that. To be honest, I would prefer to hang out with COVID Cabal crew. So I'm going to prioritize that because what else can be said at this point? You know, just fucking do your job, right? Do your job. But we'll see about that. Trying to figure out the logistics of all these things. But what I want you guys to do is to understand, think in 5D. Okay, when you think in 5D, it's like we are going. We're going. Oh, how do we make it happen? Doesn't matter. We figure that out. We're going. So you what is it? Actually, I just realized this, but this is begin with the end in mind. Do you remember that? It's from one of the big whatever the fuck, Stephen Covey. No, it wasn't. I forget who it was. I forget who wrote this book, but one of the things he'd say is begin with the end in mind. That's 5D. 5D. It's like this is what's going to happen, and so let's see how we get there. We're going to DC, guys. My daughter is so great because my daughter, first off, she's a great baby, super easy baby. But second off, came at a perfect time. I was like, oh, it'd be better if she came later. She knew the timeline. I didn't know the timeline. She came at the perfect time because she's going to be like, at that point, she'll be past the 2-week stage. I don't need to be around for that day. I'm obviously not trying to be delinquent, but she gave me some, she's like, hey, you got to go out and do your thing, right? She came during the breathing window. So I don't know who's Jeff Tiedrick and Murray, who always post under every post. Who is that? Who are those people? Yeah, it was Stephen Covey, 7 Habits. So just shoot me a DM. The TLDR is no, they can't test that. They can't test it. Wait, what is? Yeah, they can't test that stuff. It doesn't matter. Don't comply. You can't stop interstate commerce, guys. This is all unconstitutional. You can't say, DC can't say, well, you can't come in from other states. They can't say that. They can't fucking say it. It doesn't make a difference. What are they going to do? Line the city with DC police? Then we walk towards it. It's going to be fucking V for Vendetta. If you think for a second that they are going to put police on the barrier of DC to try to stop patriots from coming in, that's a recipe for a really bad situation because I'm telling you guys, some of these patriots are going to be armed. But more than that, they're going to say, we dare you. We fucking dare you. They are going to be in a dangerous situation. You think a line of policemen want to be facing 100,000 people on their street? No. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. They are trying to scare you because they are scared. I'm not bringing a weapon. I'm not bringing my weapons. They are going to be scared. See, I don't know who these people are. I don't know who they are. Maybe I blocked them. Maybe they comment or saying they comment under every Trump post. I don't know. So the 6th is going to be lit. Again, if you're coming, shoot me a DM. You see, I don't know. I just blocked these people. A lot of them are actually demon possessed. They're actually demon possessed. I don't like to see it. I don't like to see this stuff. Ooh, that was good. That was a good slurp. Party in DC, maybe. Hey guys, maybe. I mean, I'm gonna make it contingency that maybe I stay overnight. Maybe we party. Maybe we party all night in DC. But I have to say, I'm not sure about how Antifa is going to deal with things. But maybe we stay overnight in DC. Who knows? Yeah, very illegal and without a permit. But the reality is that how are they going to check this stuff? How are they going to check it? I mean, I'm not doing it, and I'm not recommending you do it. I'm just saying that, look, I want you guys to understand this if you don't understand it yet. There are so many people coming from outside of the DC area. Okay? I know multiple people who are driving cross country, driving from the Midwest, driving from the West Coast, driving from the South, people flying in. I was like, oh, I don't think I can make it. I just had a baby. It's like, fuck that. I got to make it. I'm only 2.5 hours away. Of course I got to go. Of course I got to go. Especially because she's a good baby. Like, I gotta do it, No, we're fucking doing this. We're fucking doing this. We're doing this as an American public. We're doing it. I'm telling you guys, January 6th is going to be July 4th. We are going to celebrate. It's going to be called Patriots Day. Thank you, Salmon. Thank you. Thank you. No, I'm serious. I'm serious about that. Thank you. We do need to be protected. I believe that we are going to be cleared out. Okay? When I say cleared out, sorry, let me be specific. I don't believe there's going to be a serious threat. There's been some concern about that. Trump is not going to, you have to understand how Trump thinks. Trump would never tell his followers to come to DC without protecting them. Okay. So you better fucking believe that he's got his DIA people scanning the city, making sure the city's safe and removed of threats before Americans come there. Okay. He doesn't ask a lot. He's asked us to do 2 things. Actually, he asked us to do 3 things indirectly. He said, don't be a fucking pussy. Okay. He asked us to do that indirectly. He asked us to vote, and he's asking us to come to DC on January 6th. That's what he's asking. He's not asking a lot. He's not asking a lot. January 6th is going to be called Patriots Day. Okay. It's going to be called Patriots Day. It's also Epiphany. Epiphany will be a holiday because it's Patriots Day. It will be considered a national holiday within 5 years. Okay? Within 5 years, January 6th will be considered a national holiday. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you. You will be like, I was there. This is the equivalent of actually, it's not the equivalent. It's bigger than being with Martin Luther King during the civil rights movement. Okay? It's bigger than that because this isn't about one group. It's about the entire country. It's about the entire fucking world. You guys get that? It's the entire fucking world. Big. Big, big, big. You want to be there. So, I am not worried about this. And so, we have now Linwood. Linwood's revealing all about Roberts, which we knew already. My wife's great. All women get a little bit nervous about this stuff, right? All women get a little bit nervous about this stuff, but no, look, she's not in fear consciousness. So, and she understands this stuff, right? She understands what I do. She understands she doesn't try to hold me back from my purpose. She understands my destiny, my fate, and she supports it. Obviously it's not like you can just do whatever the fuck you want. No, and I have to, and that's actually like an edge for me because desire's not an issue, but I can be very much, I have to, bring myself to remind myself about being present, right, with her and with the family, because that's important, right? Every woman wants that. I'm not, we were always looking on her edge, right? We always have her edge, but no, she understands. She's never. The only thing that I'm going to tell you guys is it's personal, but this is why I'm really blessed. I love my wife. I'm really blessed because when it's like I don't show up. Let's just say I don't show up perfectly as a husband or father because I'm prioritizing other things. Her response is not stop doing these things that are adding value to the world. Her response is stop being wake up earlier, right? That's her response is wake up earlier. Like you wasted time doing this stuff. You wasted this stuff, right? It's never give up your mission for me. It's always like don't be lazy about this thing, right? You can't afford to do this stuff anymore. That's the kind of message that I get, and that's a message that spurs me to better growth, right? No, she doesn't like the beard. Actually, she's a clean shaven person. But to be honest, everybody agrees it was really the hair, it wasn't the beard that was the problem. It was the top that was the problem. That was the real homeless look there. Beards are all right, but it's the top that was the homeless look. No, she was not awake when I met her. I did awaken her. Yeah, for sure I did. But she's great. She's great, and we have a soul connection. I mean, I won't go into that. That's very personal, but we were very obviously meant to be together. So, look, Epstein's alive. We got this from Linwood. Linwood's also revealing all about Roberts. We knew about Roberts, though. We knew about Roberts, but now he's revealing it. Delegitimizing these fuckers. I love it. Daring them to sue him for defamation. Daring them. They're not going to do it. But it makes sense Epstein wasn't killed, right? It makes sense Epstein wasn't killed. Wonder what's going to happen, right? Wonder what's going to happen. Trump's got the royal flush, guys. He's got a royal flush. And the reality is that there's only a certain number of rounds that they can play. And we're at that last round. Trump doesn't want to reveal his hand to the last round. And how can you blame him? Well, that was the story. And I'm gonna riff off of this for a second. I'm gonna riff off this right there. We have, we thought Hillary Clinton had Epstein killed. Who's to say that she didn't have him killed? Who's to say that she didn't try to have him killed? Okay? Let me take a little tangent for a second here. Do you guys know what happened in Nashville? What happened in Nashville last week? What happened in Nashville last week? It's very difficult to put this together. It's very difficult to put this together. What happened in Nashville, right? We had the bombing, but what was the story with the bombing? Very difficult to figure out what was going on here. Very difficult to figure out what was going on here. Because you have an explosion, but then there's a warning that people should get out of the area. No one's killed. But then you look more into the footage, and it looks like a direct energy weapon was used. And then the media is saying it was some like weird guy who, had an issue with, some woman at Hooters or whatever. There's all sorts of random stories. And they said he was a suicide bomber. And then, but really, they just dropped it. They just dropped the story. It was like the Vegas shooting. Okay, it was like the Vegas shooting. So what I want to tell you is borrowed very heavily from Simon Parks. Because I was trying to figure this out. It wasn't making any sense. I've been hearing it was white hats who did it. And when I saw the direct energy weapon, and that was fucking true, guys. I mean, there's no doubt when you look at the footage, it was direct energy weapon. No doubt about it. But it was like, this doesn't make any sense. It was like really hard to figure out what was going on. Simon Parks, I think, got 90% of it. I think there was a piece he said that I didn't really quite resonate with, but he really nailed it. So we've been trying to figure out what the story is with the AT&T building. What's the deal with the AT&T building? Why is it so important? The Batman building. Why is it so important? What's the story? Well, AT&T building. AT&T has records. People thought it was, by the way, connected to the NSA. People thought it was connected to Dominion because of the cables that run towards Georgia. So they thought it was connected to that. Right, basically that the data being sent overseas, and that could be true. That could be true. But here's the deal, and this is one of the things, by the way, that Thomas Wichter has gotten wrong. Okay, Thomas Wichter's great. Where's Thomas Wichter? Somebody asked earlier. Thomas is he's a weird guy, and I hate his new video format, by the way, because I like to listen to videos at 2x speed, and Thomas's videos of late have been screen caps. So I have to look at my fucking YouTube video. I can't listen to it. But at least it's whatever. Wichter's a weird guy. He's very smart. He's weird. He said multiple times he has nothing else to say. He said everything he has to say. Thomas isn't here to give you morale, right? Thomas has had a lot of pain in his life, and I love him. I love him from afar. I do. I genuinely do love him from afar. I think he's a good guy. But he's not. He's a little bit of got a little bit of curmudgeon energy, you know. I'm not a curmudgeon, okay, guys. I'm flaneur energy. Let's shoot the shit over some Cremant. You know, I like that. Victor doesn't like that. But why the fuck was I even talking about Victor? Oh, he was talking about how software is all that matters. That the DIA, that military intelligence can just track it with software. Hardware doesn't matter, and that's correct. But hardware matters because hardware is hard evidence. Hardware is hard evidence. Okay. If you want to really get, there are some things that you can change things. If you can catch it when it's going over, you can also change it when it's going over. And so software is soft in a certain sense. There's a softness to it. I'm not a tech person, but this is how I understand it, and it makes perfect sense, right? But things that get changed or things that are registered on hardware can't be changed, okay? Can't be changed. They can't be digitalized away. So the AT&T Center has calls of every American from 1987. Recorded calls of every American since 1987. You guys get that? 1987. Which means that the cabal's conversations have been recorded. Hey, guess who doesn't talk on the phone? Donald Trump. Actually, he talks on the phone, but he doesn't use email. So maybe they had Donald Trump in the AT&T Center. Maybe they had Donald Trump. But he does most things over the phone or does it in person. He doesn't email, right? He doesn't email. Okay, pun. Forget it. It wasn't good. It didn't work. It didn't work in this context. But Trump, okay. So AT&T Center has everything from 1987 onward. A lot of incriminating shit there. Now, maybe this wasn't the full reason. This is what Simon Park says. Maybe there was things with the NSA. Maybe there was things with Dominion. But I'm just going to separate from these details, which are frankly irrelevant as far as we're concerned, and focus on this on the fact that the hardware servers, which are steel concrete reinforced in the AT&T Center, had information on there that the cabal didn't want. Okay, it's sufficient to say that there is some bad stuff on these servers that the cabal wanted destroyed, and they can erase what they want digitally, but unless the physical servers are destroyed, they can't really get rid of the evidence. And so what they did was they sent a bomb there, and the purpose of the bomb was to blow up the AT&T Center servers in the AT&T Center, right? AT&T building, and a couple thousand people around the area. So what? Big deal. No big deal, right? Well, Simon says that he had NSA's good at this point. I don't know that the NSA was always good, but the NSA at this point is good. CIA, FBI are fully bad. DIA fully good. NSA has been kind of dependent on the administration, but we have the NSA now, so the NSA is good. Okay. Yeah, well, maybe connected to Georgia. I don't know. That's a part. I'm just going to make the point that they were trying to blow up servers there that were relevant. Maybe the servers had information from Dominion. I don't know. From the fact that the votes were overseas. I don't know about that. Simon says, though, that he received a call prior to the night before that was basically said that Space Force was going to use their weapons. Now, I have to tell you this. When I saw the direct energy weapon, I was like, wait a minute. How does the cabal have access to direct energy weapons at this point? Because maybe all of you guys don't get it yet, but the top level reptilians are gone. Okay? The top level reptilians who occupied this planet, they've gone. They've left. They've abandoned it. We are dealing with their lackeys. Okay? To use Lord of the Rings reference, Melkor's gone. We got Sauron left. That's what we're dealing with right now. We've lost, the big guns are out of the picture. And they don't have control of space as a result. The Galactic Federation controls the space around Earth. Space Force is that for Trump. It's the it's the beginning of what will eventually be something like Star Trek for us. Okay? So Space Force has those weapons, but Cabal doesn't at this point. Cabal is fighting a rearguard action. They have to retake the presidency because that's their only way that they can retake Space Force, retake any of these things. Even so, they're still fucked. It doesn't make a difference, but that's their plan. Because they've been abandoned on a galactic level. The Sicarian Empire, the Orion Alliance, right? They're done with the situation. The big players are done with it. They're not giving support. They understand it's a lost cause. That's why I keep saying it's done. Okay, it's done. We have a bunch of people who have been left by their masters who are trying to fight for survival, and they have no assets anymore. Before it was different. Okay, understand how it's changed. Before, more than a decade ago, they had control over the infrastructure of the planet. You guys understand what's changed? It's changed. Lots changed in the last 10 years, last 5 years. Lots changed. Okay? Even Trump running. I mean, I say 5 years ago because that's realistically correct. Trump running for president was basically like big players are deciding to peace out. We're done here. I heard the last major reptilian figure left in 2015. I heard that. I don't know if it's true, but I heard that. But they've been basically abandoned since then. My wife knows about the reptilians. She knows all about this shit. She was like, "Hey Pat, can we watch COVID Cabal?" She wants to hear all this shit. She loves it. She asks good questions too. It sometimes annoy me because sometimes I'm like flowing on intuition, like, yeah, this is happening. She's like, well, wait a minute, why is that? Like, shut up, bitch. Just wait, trust the plan. It's like, oh man, it's a good question. Actually, I gotta think about this. I gotta process it. So, yeah, in fear any crack, right? It's like, god damn, yeah. So, the big players have left. The royalties left. They used to occupy the planet. They're done with this. There are still reptilians here, but they're lower level. They're gonna get slaughtered. You guys get this? They're gonna get slaughtered. I got so much more stuff to talk about with you guys. How are we doing on time? We're gonna roll at least till 7. 6:45, 7. We're gonna keep rolling. Okay. They're done. They've abandoned the planet. We have their lackeys left, and they're gonna get slaughtered. That's why Trump has been. Don't ask me where I learned this stuff. It's all over the place, guys. I've been reading this for 3 years. I've been reading about this stuff. It's like single resource is not. You have to follow your curiosity, intuition to learn it yourself. So, okay. So what happened in Nashville was basically, so Simon Parks was told that Space Force was going to use their weaponry. Okay. And remember how Magenta said there was going to be a Christmas surprise. It was going to be good. It was connected with Trump. And I think some of us probably heard that and were like, well, we didn't get that Christmas surprise. It wasn't good. Well, actually, it was a Christmas surprise. No, Trump isn't a reptilian. We actually did get that Christmas surprise. Because the Christmas surprise was special ops stopping the terrorist attack in Nashville. They stopped it. Now, Simon says that they unloaded 90. If he makes one more stupid comment, Simon, I will block him. They basically were unloading. They were unloading. Simon Parks was saying that they were unloading all this shit. They were unloading all this shit from the van, all this explosives, but they left it to blow up. It didn't make any sense to me. I think that the better answer is that they couldn't disable the bomb. They probably couldn't disable the bomb. And so special ops went in there and they put the loudspeaker there. And then called in Space Force to vaporize it. And Space Force has the capability of checking if there's life signs. Look at it's like a thermal reader from space, okay? So Space Force fucked up the Cabal. And guys, this makes perfect sense because it's like, well, why was there an attack on this building? The White Hats wouldn't make an attack on the building, but the White Hats would maybe blow up something that would stop an attack. People were also talking about the Warner, the person who was named there, who was talking. He was like apparently, trying to make some Q reference to it. I don't know about that shit. But the point is, the bigger picture stuff here with the Nashville bombing is that there was an effort to. No lives were lost, right? We had 3 minor injuries. No lives were lost. Direct energy weapons were used, and an attack was thwarted. And that's why the media had no idea how to respond to it, because the media didn't have their pre-narrative put in place. They just dropped it. They pretended it didn't happen. Can you imagine if this had been a real Cabal psyop? All right. Real Cabal psyop. If this had been a real Cabal psyop, the media would be spreading their narrative over and over and over again. So, yes. So, in a nutshell, they stopped them from destroying most of the evidence and saved lives. They blew up a couple houses as a collateral damage, but that was pretty good stuff overall. So, very interesting stuff. Now, pulling that back about Epstein, right? So, did Hillary Clinton try to kill Epstein? Yes, for sure she did. And that doesn't mean that the White Hats didn't intervene. What you do is that you take their move and you take their move and move it against them. What is, you have martial arts, you have fighting, and then you have a lot of martial arts is directed around using the enemy's momentum against them. So you will take a Cabal plan and then you will repurpose it. Great example of this. All the powers that have been given to the presidency since the 2001 Patriot Act, Trump's now using against the Cabal. Okay? It's Aikido. Exactly, Halsey. Or Hayden. Sorry. Exactly. You use their moves, you use their energy against them. That's the thing that's so funny and ironic about this, is that they created this crazy, crazy presidency with so much power because they were going to use it to fuck everybody in the country up. And now Trump has the power. They didn't like that, right? They create a monster and we use it against them. And then we destroy the monster. So, Adam, I haven't seen Hanks recently, but I buy that. I'm sure he's looking pretty grim. So, all that shit with Nashville, big stuff. We have more and more stuff coming out. You have the guy in Georgia, the Georgia hearing, able to reprogram the computer in front of their eyes to change votes. Hilarious. It's hilarious. He's bald. He's probably in prison. I can't emphasize for you guys enough how over it is. But we have a role to play. In all of this stuff. So I guess I can talk a little bit more about, you asked about the UFO disclosure and the COVID bill. 3 months from now, right? I've been telling you guys spring. What I'm hearing more and more is that we have Trump inauguration and early April. Basically Easter is what we're hearing. We're hearing Easter. So maybe those Q posts, right? Remember last year, everyone was like, these 3 days of darkness and everything with Q stuff, the disclosure, the heavy disclosure, right? Maybe it was a 3-year delta. 180 days. Okay, so what is that? So that takes us to June. We got a lot of shit going on. I've been hearing April. Well, people have been saying April, but Trump's getting inaugurated, guys. He's getting inaugurated. No stopping this. No stopping it. There's no fucking stopping it. It's funny. It's funny to hear this stuff. But we're all fucking tired of we're all tired of the we're all tired of the fear people. Intuition tells me we'll have two presidents until Easter when it's clear Trump wins. It's possible. I mean, when we say two presidents, we'll have one person who green screens their inauguration, and then we'll have the actual president who has control of the military and the government, right? So we got two presidents. Hey guys, I'm gonna tell everybody that I'm president. You know, people just should green screen their own presidency. Well, if that's the case, I'm not gonna obviously lose my Twitter account because Trump's gonna be the actual president. But I'm sure the other guy won't delete his Twitter account because he'll say that Biden is actually still president. So I guess it's a draw, right? I guess it's a draw. Look, I'm not worried about any of this stuff. It's so clear. If you have eyes to see and you have hearts to feel, frankly, if you have mind to fucking think, it's so obvious what's going on here. But if you're in dissonance and you're in fear, can't see it. Can't see it. It's over for them. There's no energy supporting it. People forget Biden exists, and the same people who forget he exists will tell you that he's going to be the next president. It's amazing. It's amazing. I'm going to make one comment to Colty, just one. The reality is that Colty is he's a fraud. I mean, he's a fucking phony, whatever. I'm not going to waste a lot of energy talking to people who are being left behind. That's the short way I'll put it. Adam, exactly. There's no coverage on Biden at all. There's no point in wasting energy though on these people. Like that guy from high school who's super creepy, he's probably watching this. They follow every single thing I do. He follows every single thing. It's really weird. It's like sometimes I'll see people are responding to a thread. I'm like, oh, I blocked this person. I'll check it. It's the same fucking person over and over again. It's really creepy. Like, I'm not going to, like, I don't even want to be around these people. They're going to have a rough time ahead. I don't even know who he is. I don't know who he is. I generally don't know who he is. He's on my year. Probably like 2 years younger than me. I say probably because I had a lot of associations with that year. My girlfriend in high school was that year. What do I think about Nasara Jessara? I think it can get mischaracterized by people in the community who talk about how it's I think there are some people who want it to be just like free money for everybody, free resources for everybody. Sorry, but a lot of where that comes from a sort of three-dimensional consciousness where their objective is to not have to worry about anything and I'm going to be provided for everything. Whereas the reality is that Nasara Jessara is going to be a gradual rollout that's going to keep pace with the consciousness of the public. Okay. So we get to a majority of the world population being 5D, then we could have that sort of system in full. Because then it's based on real shit. It's a system that's designed for a different level of consciousness that exists currently. Now, those of us who have been already kind of in 5D or close to 5D, upper 4D, right? They already understand this. This is what Think and Grow Rich was. All that Nasara Jessara in the early stages is doing is breaking the corrupt system. If you are contributing to people in a 5D consciousness, right? If you are giving to people and the system is not trying to hijack that giving then you will make money. That's the reality. If you are giving to the public, if you're giving to people, if you're providing value, and there is no system to hijack it, by nature, you will have money flow to you. That's how it works. Okay, that's been growing gradually the last decade. It's tough to find. That's one of the reasons I haven't resonated with a lot of business advice, is because a lot of business advice plays off of dark energy. Okay, it plays off of dark energy, and somebody wants to buy something, somebody comes to you out of fear, and then you push on the fear, and then you make them buy by putting more fear on them. That's like a lot of dark energy selling. And I'm not saying that you can't alchemize some of the fear towards a positive thing, but a lot of this stuff has been just bullshit. It's all hacky bullshit. It's kind of shit that Colty Bra does, right? Colty Bra, I think he makes money, but he has fear consciousness, and he plays off fear consciousness, and he plays off greed and low consciousness shit. And as I become more aligned and in sort of light energy, I guess you could say, then it's much more like I'm just going to, like, I don't even like, I'll push you a little bit because maybe you're on the verge and you need a push and the courage, but I'm not going to like waste time trying to force you to do something. It's like, fuck off then. It's like, you made your choice. It's not my problem. Okay. So Nasera Jacera is, everyone asks me about the Tate brothers. I'm like, look, it's not really I think that the Tate brothers do some things that cater to lower consciousness impulses, money, women, power. I agree with that. There's dark energy there. I'm not going to lie about that stuff. The Tate brothers are not frauds, though. First off, they're not frauds. Second off, I know plenty of people who I don't think that what is presented is the full picture, because I have people on the inside who know them, and people who have a lot of light energy in them. And I think that they're good people. Fundamentally, I think they're good people. I think that I think a lot of what you see is marketing. But I also, and it's no disrespect to the question, but I'm just really tired of the fucking question, because it's not my business what other men do. And I have no beef with the Tates. And I know that the intention of this question was not to create beef. They were just asking, but there's a tendency for people when they ask these questions to try to create problems between individuals. I don't give a fuck. The Tates are living in alignment, more or less. I mean, maybe they have some stuff, but it doesn't. They made their choice, right? They made their choice, and they're doing well, and they're in alignment with their life. And I have a different life. I have a different sort of trajectory. I use energy differently. This is the best way to put it. I use energy differently than they do. Okay? I have clients, I have friends who work with both of them, both me and them. And we work with different energy. So whatever your energetic makeup is, you may benefit from working with the Tates. There are some people, for their goals, they should not work with me. They should work with the Tates. Or they should work with me on one thing and work with the Tates on another thing. That's fine. I have nothing but respect for the Tates. There are a lot of posers and fakes on Twitter. I would say that 9 out of 10 people who try to pretend to be the Tates are fake. But the Tates are not fake. They're the real deal. Okay? It's the real deal. They rep that lifestyle correctly. So, whatevs. I would have fun hanging out with the Tates, probably. Maybe I'll see them in Eastern Europe. I don't know. But we have different visions of life. So yeah, guys. I've never eaten mushrooms. I've not ever eaten mushrooms. I've never done psychedelics. Every single bit of sort of higher intuition I've gotten has come from deep work. I've never used anything. I'll do a little bit of tobacco and I drink alcohol. I don't smoke weed. Never done cocaine. Never done mushrooms. Never done psychedelics. So, but yeah, to finish the Nassar Jassara stuff, just basically in a place that had the natural system is quantum, that the energy you put out is what you receive. And so we know that higher consciousness individuals will receive more, right? They'll receive more. However, excuse me for that, I'm trying to get rid of my message screen. Higher consciousness individuals receive more because they put more energy out. Okay. In a hijacked system, which is what the cabal did, the cabal hijacked system. And so what they did is they created a false structure where people, they would hijack energy and then they would bring all the money to them, right? The Fed was a great example of this as a system level hijacking. Okay. So for us, however, once you take away that, then people who are in 5D will make money. But here's the catch about 5D. If your objective is to make money, then you won't make money because then you're out of 5D. So you have to be of service. Now you have to honor your service. You have to honor your service because on honoring your service is actually low vibration because that's shame and guilt. Okay. And a lot of the people who are of positive polarity have believed that money is evil because of cabal programming. Because they don't want any competition for the money. They don't want high vibration people to think that they deserve money. Because if high vibration people thought they deserved money, the cabal would get less money. Because even if you hijack a system, high vibration people will take from it if they know how to receive. So you shame high vibration people. You shame them into not thinking they deserve anything because it's bad to deserve things. And then they create a space for parasites to take from the rest, including the high vibration people. So you eliminate that structure and things start to correct themselves. But if you as a high vibration person are ever in the state like where I have to take everything, I want all this money, I want to be rich, I don't really create financial goals anymore. What I'm creating more is reach goals. How much more can I reach? How much more can I increase my service within alignment with myself? Really just trying to figure out what's in alignment. So I expect I'll make more money next year. In fact, I feel certain about that, but I'm not making a financial goal because that personally takes me out of pocket. My energy does not work very well with the dark stuff. Honest thoughts on JFK Jr. coming in the picture. All right, so this is the last thing. We're going to talk about Pence. We're going to talk about JFK Jr. and then we're closing. Okay, closing in the last couple minutes here. So I said on last Periscope that I believed that if Pence didn't do the right thing and he was removed from office as a result, then we would have JFK Jr. come in. Okay, I don't really know anything about JFK Jr. being alive or not. I don't know the root of that rumor, to be honest. I know it's Q connected, but I was never really shown a coherent understanding of why JFK Jr. was alive. Now, I do agree that his death story is bullshit. But the question is did he fake his death or did the cabal kill him and it was a fake story for that reason? Legitimate two differences. He didn't die the way he was told he died. People have said it's Vincent Fusco, right? I've heard that. Could be true. It could be true. And I keep a very much open mind about it. It would certainly make sense to me that if why would JFK Jr. be protected though? I don't want to be heretical here. but I'm going to be heretical here because you guys asked, and I want to be honest. If JFK Jr. is alive, it's because JFK Jr. is the reincarnation of Christ. That's my perspective. If he's alive, it's because he's the reincarnation of Christ. And for the Cabal to win, they had to kill Christ, right? They had to kill him. And that's the kind of connection with Frodo in the ring, is that they had to protect this thing, this person who's going to destroy their power. Okay? And so they had to keep him secret. They had to keep him hidden. They had to keep him and what he has to do hidden. Okay? I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if he's alive. It could be much more linear that Pence just does the right thing. And for the record, I do think Pence will do the right thing. Now, I'm not sure how much power he really has constitutionally, but I think Pence will do the right thing. I've moved from 50-50 to 60-40 on Pence doing the right thing in the 6th. I think that the timeline improved. Now, the question is about Pence. There's another subplot here, which is that Pence could be bad, but as part of the agreement, Pence will resign. And you can make an argument here that Pence could be a hero. He could be perceived as a hero because he will do the right thing, but then he'll say, to make sure that it's really grounded and that nobody has any negative suspicions of it, that he does the right thing and then says, I will resign and not be vice president. And that feels like a very likely possibility. And so then we have this sort of synthesis of the two theories, which is that then we have a vice presidential position to open up that allows JFK Jr. to come in if he is around. So Pence does the right thing and then resigns because he doesn't want to make the decision tainted by the fact that he's protecting himself. And then Pence, if Pence was good, was always good, or if Pence was bad and turned good, regardless, I've heard some people say this, that Pence will do the right thing and then resign. That was the deal. Could be true. So we'll find out. But guys, doesn't matter. Because you know what matters? What matters is that we're going to win. And we're going to be in DC. I'm going to see you guys in DC on the 6th. I'm going to see you guys in 2021. We'll have a cover Cabal before then. But we're going to see you guys in 2021. Some of you in person. And be ready, though. From what I said at the beginning of this Periscope, be ready to do your job in the new year. I love you all. I'll see you.